Listen, I am a professional content creator. I know what I'm doing, and I just totally screwed up a live stream because I had audio issues. But I think I'm good now. I'm back. And my good friend, I have to shout out my good friend Gabe. Gabe, you are the champion of my heart because you let me know. You don't like to text, yet you did text me to let me know my audio wasn't working, and I'm super thankful for that. Hey, man, how are you? Oh, dude, don't worry about it. You work here, too. Do you want to work in here?
No, I'm looking for my legal pad.
You love your legal pad. Joseph, if you would like to come say hi on the live stream,
Your live stream?
I want you to know that you absolutely can. You don't.
Live stream?
Anywhere I want. This is America. Want to say hi? Just look right there and say hi.
Hi.
You did it. You did it, buddy. You're the man. All right, so I screwed that up earlier, but here's what we're doing today. We are editing some video, and I kind of wanted to show you that process because it's something I do very regularly, and it's something that I think, everybody has a different system, and mine, in my opinion, works really, really well. So I just filmed 2 videos. One was about using the mic on your iPhone for your mic in videos. And the other video was about starting a podcast on YouTube because YouTube is going all in on podcasts. And it's a place where if you are considering starting a podcast or if you already have a podcast, should you export your podcast to Apple Podcasts and Spotify and all that? Absolutely. But you should be putting your podcast on YouTube because people will watch. So let me kind of show you what I'm working with here. Whenever I film, I have backups for my backups. I mean, I got a lot of stuff going on. So let me show you what I got here. Oh man, I'm hoping audio continues to work. So right here, this is what you guys are seeing, my Sony ZV-E10. This is the camera that I shot both of my videos with. I recorded audio off of the Sennheiser MK8-416P48. Oh my goodness, longest name ever. And then I've got my Samsung Q9U here, which is like a great mic for streaming and for audio. Definitely have my iced coffee. And everything is going into this Zoom live track, this Zoom L8. So once I am done filming, I have all of my video. I also screen recorded using QuickTime. So I've got separate audio, separate video files. How do I organize all of this stuff so that it makes sense? Well, I'll show you. First things first, let me. That was the problem. My mic was muted. Now we're looking at my screen. And that message you just saw was Gabe telling me, your mic's not working, because he is so kind. But here, I'm going to go ahead and open my Finder. And whenever I start a project on either my computer or maybe that project, all the information is stored on an external hard drive, I always use my content creation folder. I have this standard folder where it is set up for me to dump in all the elements of a piece of content that I'm creating. And while I'm going through this, feel free to ask questions, disagree with me, share some ideas. This is an open forum to some degree. So this is my content creation template folder, and inside of it I have audio. All of my audio goes here. I even have a standard Logic template that I use for all of my projects if I'm editing audio myself that has some settings for microphones and things like that already built into it that I like. deliverables, anything I export. So if I do multiple shorts out of a long form video, or if I have multiple projects out of a ton of different, like that's kind of like in the same library or in the same topic, all those exports, all the projects that when they're done get sent here. These are my end cards. At the end of every video, you'll see click here and the video pops up. Well, I have placeholders for those videos where they might go. Extras, anything extra. This is where my Final Cut, the actual Final Cut library lives. I hit the wrong button. Footage. This is any piece of video or finalized audio goes here. And footage even breaks down into subfolders like footage, intro, main section, outro, outside shots, whatever. Images, pretty obvious. And anything I'm doing that's podcast specific would go into this folder. Now, that's my content creation folder. So whenever I'm creating a video, I Command D and duplicate it. I hit enter to rename it, and then I put the date, which is 2023-06-28, and then whatever, kind of like my working title of that video might be. Boom, Patrick Rules, with a capital A in Patrick for some reason, because I'm a huge A. Moving on, but I'm going to delete that. I don't need it. So here's the first video that I filmed today, YouTube podcasts, okay? So as you can see, inside of this folder, I have actually, this is a folder that's from my Zoom. So remember, I am using my Zoom L8 to record. So it records right to an SD card in the back. I pull it out, and that's where this folder, which shows all of, oh, wait a minute, hold on. Did that, oh yeah, cool, that worked, okay. So inside this folder, I have the kind of like the data file for that project, the master file, and track 1. So the first thing I do, or actually it's not necessarily the first thing, is I'm going to dump this entire folder into my audio bin here, my audio folder. So now I know, and I'm actually just going to rename it Zoom, just so anytime I move this project anywhere, I know this is all the audio files from the Zoom recording I did for this specific project. Okay, and then I very often will pop over to, actually I talk a lot about this in both of the videos I just recorded, but I will drop this audio into the podcast.adobe.com/enhance tool. 9 times out of 10, I don't do a lot of audio editing because this does everything for me. It's a free tool. It's online. You just have to sign up for an account. It's absolutely free. It's a part of their podcast, Adobe Podcast, their beta suite that they're releasing of these different tools for specifically for podcasts, but it just creates great audio. So I want to make sure, have I already done this before? I just want to make sure I haven't done it already. Nope. Okay, so I'm going to take my audio. I'm going to select, I'm going to upload another. I'm going to go into, let's see here, the folder I was just in, audio, Zoom, track 1. If I hit enter, and edit, be listening to my podcast. Okay, great. Here, and you're going to want to apply all the other pop a little. Great, cool. And I'm going to open this, and depending on how long, it's about a 7-minute audio clip. Depending on how long the clip is, it takes that much time to actually enhance the audio. Is Gabe here again? Gabe, you are the man. Okay, how do I make this larger? Yes, I want to make this larger. Yes. Okay, this is my buddy Gabe, and while this audio is processing, I want to show him off really quickly. Let me pop back over to here. Yeah, I'm going to put his comment back up here. Gabe is a guy who is a great creator. I have a few people in my life that, as I've become a content creator or gotten more into, let's say, oh, he says, you bet I am. I've gotten more into, video, audio type, essential type things. He's been one of these guys that stuck with me my entire life, being like, don't buy that, buy this. You don't have to buy that, buy this instead. Why are you editing this way? Your mic sounds like an elephant dying in a rainforest somewhere. Why? And I'm really thankful. Like guys like him, guys like Ken, even like back in the day, my buddy like Josh and Dustin, like early days of me trying to figure out how gear actually worked. Man, these guys were essential, and I still am like really I'm still in contact with Gabe. Super thankful for him. Anyway, let's pop back over here. So my audio has been enhanced, and I'm going to go ahead and download it. Now, why is this happening? Okay. Now, when I push play here, I can actually turn off the enhancement, and we kind of hear how that audio sounds. Hey. And then when I turn on the enhancement, we hear absolutely nothing at all because it has taken out tons of background noise.
If you're going to start a podcast on YouTube, here are the simple steps you need.
Now I'm going to push play. I'm going to turn off and on enhancement.
If you're going to start a podcast on
Off.
YouTube, here are the simple steps that you need to know. Wait a minute. Start a podcast on YouTube?
Yeah, there you go. So I'm going to go ahead and download this track 1 enhanced, and I'm going to click here and say show in Finder, and then here I am in the Finder, and then I'm going to hit my tab key here to open a new tab, and I'm going to go to that folder I just created, YouTube podcasts. I'm going to go to footage. I'm not putting it in the audio folder because audio is where I dump just like my rough audio. Footage is where I put my ready to use video and audio. That's just how I do it. It works in my brain. That may not make a lot of sense to people. That's okay. Track 1 enhanced. And now that I have it here, I'm just going to preview it again.
Element needed is a thumb.
Cool. And I'm just actually going to copy my folder name here. Just so, I mean, you know, it's the organization is so important to me. I want to name things appropriately. So for instance, I have my audio is named after the project. I'm actually going to rename my video after the project name. And then I'm going to rename screen. I'm going to do screen recording and then the name of the project. But I don't need the date in there. Trust me, these little organizational things will, in the long run, help you a ton. Because as you create projects, as you create content for YouTube, for podcasting, for graphic design, whatever, you will have like final product, final product, finally my final product. You know, you just want to name things appropriately or else you'll get into trouble trying to find the right thing at the right time, and it'll cost you time, and time is money, and the law of diminishing returns, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Okay, great. So now I have all of my footage. Now this is a pretty simple project so far because I just have 2 video files, 1 audio file. When I edit this video, I'm going to add in backing tracks, and I'm going to add in little pops and bleeps and bloops and funny GIFs and animations to keep people engaged. But for now, this is the skeleton of my project. So now it's time to open up Final Cut Pro, okay, which is the software, Gabe, sorry, this is the software that I use. And inside of Final Cut Pro, I've got my most recent project I've been working on, but I'm going to go File, New, Library. Now, this is something we should probably talk about. I create a library for every project I create. I feel as if, now before I get to that, Gabe has mentioned that that file management is the most mind-numbing part of any video project, but easily one of the most important. I completely agree. It's not just me, it's the pro who's saying it as well. I love that. So let me get out of here. Thank you, Gabe, you're right. So what was I saying? What was I talking about? I was talking about library for every project. Sorry. A lot of times, especially within Final Cut Pro, users will create one library and then project. So if you have a YouTube channel called Patrick Murphy, you have the Patrick Murphy library, and every project you create is within that library. I find that to be, in theory, a good idea, in reality, a terrible idea. That's my opinion. I'm sticking to it. So I create a library for each individual project. It really just segregates out all of my projects so that I can edit and organize easily. And Gabe's telling me Final Cut Pro libraries. Yes, you're right. All right, cool. So let me hop back over here to, by the way, the application I'm using to stream is called Ecamm Live. I absolutely love it. It's caused me a few headaches here and there, but they tend to be pretty quick on working out the bugs. So once again, I'm just going to name my library after my intended project. I'm going to store this library on my solid state drive under, what is it? YouTube podcasts and in Final Cut. So everything, because Apple products love to do this, Apple applications love to create things for you that you never even asked for, which is sometimes very helpful. Actually, often it's very helpful, but sometimes it can get a little annoying. So I have told this library to live inside of Final Cut here, okay? Meaning anything that Final Cut does on its own that's kind of just like in the background that it needs to create in order to work is going to be inside this Final Cut folder. If you tell this library to live on your desktop and then you edit your project on a solid state drive, if you ever move that project anywhere, it's going to go, where's the library? Where's the library? That's why I create its own specific location where it stores everything it needs to. It's helpful. Okay, so it puts some stuff in here by default for me. Let me close this library I was just working on. That's a future podcast episode with my buddy Colt Westbrook, who is the president of Walrus Audio. And the one person that's watching, Gabe, you might actually know who Walrus Audio is. They make great instrument effects pedals. Anyway, it was a really cool conversation to talk to him. So inside of this library, it has a couple of subfolders. One, Smart Collections. All video, all audio, favorites, projects, stills. I keep this folder here. I think these are good, quick finds that you might need in a bind, but then I begin to create some of my own events. So I'm going to select this 628, just the date event, and I'm going to call this one footage. I'm going to spell footage correctly. Option N creates a new event. I'm going to create another event called projects. Yes, with an X, because out of this one library, we might create multiple projects. Speaking of, Command N creates a new project. This is just going to be my standard project. I want it to be in 4K. I am happy with this resolution. I'm happy with this frame rate. And okay. But then I'm going to select a second project, Command N, and this is going to be called Verts. Oh no, let me actually redo that. Command N. This one's going to be called Verts, which is all my vertical content. So out of one video, I have a full frame video, widescreen. Then I have a vertical project that is going to be my reels, my shorts, all of those types of things. So I'm going to switch from 4K to vertical, but it always puts me down here at 720 by 1280. I move this up to 2160, 380. So I want those verticals to be really high res as well. Woo! So now I have one project that, as you can see, is vertical, and then if I go to my projects and double click here, one project that is horizontal. This is the world we live in. Everyone act accordingly. Yes. Oh, and yeah, just to be clear, brilliant pedals. Gabe loves Walrus Audio. Gabe, you're going to want to watch that episode. It was really cool to talk to him about. It was really cool to talk to Colt about the industry and how Walrus Audio functions, and it was really, really, it was really fun. It was really fun. So I'm editing that right now. Okay, so now that I have all my footage put together and organized well, I have my library that's created, I've got my folder, I've got my organization, it's time to dump some footage in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move over here and I'm going to take all this footage. Now remember, sometimes I create subfolders. Like within the footage folder, there might be, actually, let me just show you this. So if I create a folder called main shot, and then I create a folder called secondary shot. If I take these folders and let's pretend I have a bunch of footage in them and I drag and drop them over this footage event, it creates I have to have files in there. Oh my gosh. Okay, cool. I'll put this one here and this one here. Great. So now, if I drag and drop these folders into footage, it creates two keywords sections. So now I know where all my main shot stuff is and where all my secondary shot stuff is. Now I'm going to undo that. I don't want to do that because I don't want those folders created or even that stuff in the folders. So I'm going to basically just undo everything. I'm going to delete these folders here. Okay, but since I just have one stash of footage here, I'm just going to take all of that and just dump it right into the footage event. So when we import footage into Final Cut Pro, for me, importing, there's a couple of things that Final Cut Pro will do for you that is annoying, okay? So number one, Final Cut Pro, when you import footage, let me hop back over here to Final Cut Pro, you can copy to the library storage location. So remember, we created a library, we put it in its own little folder. When I import footage, Final Cut Pro, I'm pretty sure by default, will take all the footage you imported, copy it, and put it in its own storage system. Now, does that speed up Final Cut Pro? Sure. Does that make it so that you don't have to worry about organizing things? Sure. Does that double the size of your project? Yes. Do people know that? No. Does it make moving your project from here or there easier? Sometimes. But I like to leave files in place. So I import footage into Final Cut Pro, and it just says, oh, we're just going to reference whatever storage location you told us to reference, which is, again, my footage folder. So yes, Final Cut Pro can organize things for you, but having all of that footage in a place where I know where it is important to me. Okay, so now that we've imported this footage, there's some other things that can do for you automatically. Find people, balance color, create, optimize, and proxy media. Again, I turn a lot of this off because all it does is take up more time. And I have a MacBook Pro M1 Max, which is very speedy. It's not the M2, but these M1 and M2 chips inside of these Macs are incredible. And so I don't have to worry about Final Cut Pro doing a bunch of extra stuff to create footage on its own to speed up the processing of editing in Final Cut because my computer is super snappy. Okay, only the best for Patrick. Let me just check on Ecamm Live. Is anybody watching? Yeah, a couple people watching. And if anybody has any questions, obviously, just let me know. I exist. Like, one of the things I love to do is, like I say at the top of a lot of my videos, I'm a husband, a dad, a human, a creator, and a worship pastor living in New York City. And on this channel, we talk about all of it. And I love the conversation aspect of YouTube. So as we're going through this, if anybody has questions, let me know. Okay, cool. So let me go ahead and pop back over here to Final Cut. So now it has imported all of this footage. Again, Final Cut isn't storing any of this footage. It's just referencing this footage in whatever storage location I put it in. I select all this stuff, and I want to move between these clips. So what I do is a lot of people will drag and drop all like a bunch of clips on top of each other in Final Cut. 1, 2, and then try to line up everything perfectly. I don't do that. In this case, I do that when I need to, but for this project, I select all these, right-click, new multi-cam clip. And what it does is Final Cut analyzes all of that video, and it finds, at the top of a film, when they go action, whack, and they slap that bar. It's called slating, I believe. And you slap that bar, it creates a real big peak in the audio, and that's how they line up all of their cameras and all of their microphones to the same starting point. Final Cut's going to do that for us. So I'm going to call this multi. Now let's just call it multi-cam just so there's no confusion. Now it's going to sync all this audio. It's going to analyze all this audio. Now, this works perfectly 99% of the time. Every once in a while, for instance, when I record podcasts and I have audio coming from over here and over there and da-da-da-da, every once in a while I run into an issue. But that's okay. Now, there's not enough disk space available to optimize the multicam clip, meaning to analyze it and say, now we can move through it really, really speedy. But again, my computer's going to be able to handle it. I've got a lot of projects I'm editing right now, so I'm running out of space on all my drives. Who hasn't been there? Okay. it still creates the multicam clip. It has room to create the multicam clip. It just doesn't have the room to optimize it. Let's drop it into our project. And then when I push play,
Are listening to podcasts or watching podcasts on YouTube currently.
okay, so let's go ahead and open up. I'm going to double click this multicam clip, which shows me the layers and shows me how it's synced up. And I like to do some audio, some editing here, like for my main view, I like to drag and drop a LUT onto this that I downloaded from Envato. I've got to make a video about Envato. It's just so helpful to me. So watch right here. Watch how my image changes a bit when I drag and drop this LUT and then move over here and select custom LUT, cinematic, whoop. And it gives me this like greenish turquoise-ish view. Let's see what that looks like. So if I make this way, can I make this bigger? Yeah. I'm going to Command Z what I just did. I'm going to undo what I just did and watch how my image changes. Command Z. Okay, and then I'm going to do Shift Command Z to redo and see how it kind of gives me that a little bit more of a cinematic look. I'm also, see how you can kind of see this HVAC conduit bar here and some stuff in the back. I'm going to open up my inspector here and move down. I'm just going to cut in and then move me up a little bit. Okay. So I've got my blurry background here. I have got to get rid of this shipping box that I've had here. I've had this shipping box here forever, and it's like in every single one of my videos. It looks so tacky. But hey, listen, I'm just out here trying to live. You know what I'm saying? You guys get it. Nobody's perfect. Okay. Gabe is challenging me. Gabe, you fool. Do I want to say something about proxies for those that don't have ultra top shelf computers? First of all, how dare you care about the every person? Just let me live over here. You know what I'm saying? No, I was talking about, I kind of mentioned this a little bit, and these comments are a little delayed, so Gabe, I'm sorry. You do make a great point. Like, proxies and optimized media within Final Cut Pro is going to make projects speedier on almost any machine. I simply don't need that. And the problem with proxies and optimized media is you never know it's there unless you know it's there. So at the end of your project, remember, Final Cut and other applications, to create these proxies and optimized media, it's like doubling everything and analyzing it to make your project work really snappy if you're doing editing. And then when you're done with the project, you have this project with just a couple of clips of video and a few clips of audio, and it's like 400 gigs in size because everything is doubled. And you go, man. And then you start running out of storage very, very quickly because no one knows that you can actually, at the end of the project, delete all that optimized media and delete all that proxy media. So many people don't know that, but I do. So if you have a computer that's running a little sluggish, a little bit older, yeah, proxy media, optimized media, great. Just remember, at the end of your project, you're going to want to delete all that stuff. It's going to help you out in the long run. Okay, let's continue editing. So I've created my multicam clip. It's in my project. I've just clicked to the wrong scene. Okay, I'm back now. Let's pop over here to... Yes, pop over here, back to editing. So I've dropped in my video. I like the way it looks, but the thing about these multicam clips in Final Cut Pro that makes them so good is if I click this view menu here and select show angles, I just select which audio or video angle I want to use at any given time. So I'm going to start off on my just main shot here, and it's selected for audio. It's selected my YouTube, the enhanced audio I created with Adobe. And I'm going to push play.
Or the simple steps that
Now you'll notice that I'm hitting right about here, about minus 20. I like to hit between -6, between, not to 0, between -6 and 0 with my audio. So I'm going to push
You guys
play.
gone all in on podcasts, and it would shock you how many people.
Move over to audio, and I'm just going to bump this up. Let's say 8 dB.
Amount of people that are.
Okay, I'm going to have to go higher. Let's go 10 dB.
YouTube? Yes, you heard me right. It would shock you how many people are watching or listening to podcasts.
Okay, that works for me. And then if I ever wanted to switch angles, I just move up here to this angle view here, and I just select, boop. Now I'm looking at my screen capture that I did. I'm gonna, and then if I zoom in here, I can click and drag and change where that switch happens. But I'm actually going to undo that. I don't want to switch there. That was me just showing you an example. One thing I do want to do is double click back into my multicam. Select this screen capture here. And one thing I don't like about the screen captures is that it really shows the menu bar and your bookmarks bar and your dock down here. So I'm just going to actually scroll. I'm going to scale in here till I'm pretty much just seeing Adobe Audio Enhance, because I know that that's going to be the only thing that I'm showing for this video. And from here, at certain points in the video, I might zoom into something I'm clicking on and zoom out. But for the most part, I'm just going to be looking at Adobe Audio Enhance, and it's going to enhance my audio for me. So I'm not going to edit this whole video with you guys because that's something that I just need to zone in for. But I wanted to show you how I take a bunch of content, a bunch of clips, audio, things like that, how I organize it, and how I get a project started. If there are any questions about that, obviously leave them down in the comments. And I hope you guys have a wonderful day. I love being able to show off not just, final products, but I love being able to show off how those products are made. It's interesting to me. I've watched a bunch of videos like this myself. And again, I would love to hear if you guys have any questions or comments, or if there's anything that you would do differently. Let me know down in the comments. And everything that I'm using today, like my Sony ZV-E10, my Dasny Light, my Zoom L8, I'm going to try to make sure I'm going to get all of that linked in the description so you guys can click on those products. And when you do, that really helps me out, as you may know, because I use affiliate links and things like that. But you can check out everything I'm using. One thing that I'm really enjoying, that the way I'm switching between scenes and things like this on Ecamm Live, is by using a Stream Deck. I'm the last person to get in on the Stream Deck. I mean, it's just so great. If I want to go to the next scene, haha, here I am. If I want to go to the previous scene, here I am. If I want to mute my should probably unmute it. There it is. That's what happened earlier when my mic was muted from when I tried the stream first a few 30 minutes ago or so. So again, any questions, let me know. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and I look forward to many, many more videos together. See you in the next one.